Did you know that Hartford, Connecticut, with a population of 123,736, is among the FBI's top 10 most dangerous cities in the Northeast? A shocking fact, isn't it? And the story doesn't end there. The Northeast region of the United States, known for its vibrant culture and bustling cities, also bears the burden of high crime rates. The reasons are as complex and diverse as the cities themselves. Let's take a moment to acknowledge the cities that make it to this unfortunate list. Buffalo, New York, with a population of 257,446, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, with a staggering 1,570,826 residents, and Rochester, New York, home to 209,643 individuals, are all part of this dubious distinction. From Connecticut, we have not just Hartford but also Bridgeport, with 148,180 inhabitants. Massachusetts contributes two cities to the list, Springfield and Worcester, with populations of 154,102 and 184,595 respectively. New Jersey's Elizabeth and Paterson, with populations of 129,096 and 147,265 respectively, are also on the list. Last but not least, Syracuse, New York, with a population of 143,925, rounds out our top 10. The reasons behind these high crime rates are manifold. Poverty and lack of education often play significant roles, as does the availability of illegal substances. Unemployment and income inequality can also contribute to higher crime rates. The lack of adequate housing and social services further exacerbates the situation, trapping residents in a cycle of crime and poverty. The impact of these conditions is not just statistical. It affects the everyday lives of the residents who call these cities home. It's not just about feeling unsafe walking down the street. It's about the stress of living in a community where crime is a constant backdrop. But it's important to remember that these numbers and rankings don't define these cities or their residents. They are a call to action, a reminder that we must work harder to address the root causes of crime and create safer, more equitable communities. Now let's dive deeper into each city to understand the situation better. Starting with Hartford, Conn, a city with a population of 123,736. The city's crime index soars high above the national average, with violent crimes particularly prominent. The residents grapple with the harsh reality of living in a city where safety is a significant concern. Next, we venture to Buffalo, New York. Home to over 257,000 souls, Buffalo, too, is not without its share of issues. Crime rates here, much like in Hartford, are distressingly high, casting a shadow over the city's rich cultural heritage and vibrant community spirit. In both cities, the poor living conditions only exacerbate the situation, contributing to a vicious cycle of poverty and crime. Unemployment rates are high, and many struggle to make ends meet, leading to desperation, and in some cases, a life of crime. These cities, despite their charm and history, are currently grappling with high crime rates. Moving on to Philadelphia, Penn, a city with a population of 1,570,826. The city of brotherly love, sadly, is no stranger to crime. Its crime rate is considerably higher than the national average, causing concern among its residents. The high poverty rate and lack of job opportunities are significant factors contributing to the city's crime rate. Now let's shift our gaze to Rochester, New York, a city with a population just over 200,000. Despite its smaller size, Rochester faces big city problems. The crime rate here is also above the national average, with a high number of violent offenses. The city's residents grapple with the harsh realities of poor living conditions, inadequate education, and limited employment opportunities. The high crime rates in these cities are a stark contrast to their historic beauty and cultural richness. It's a bitter pill to swallow as both cities house incredible potential waiting to be unlocked. Next up is Bridgeport, Conn, a city with a population of 148,180. This city is known for its high levels of crime, particularly violent crime. Issues such as poverty, unemployment, and a lack of education are prevalent, contributing to the city's crime rates. Street gangs and drug trafficking are also major concerns, adding to the city's dangerous reputation. Now let's move to Springfield, Mass. With a population of 154,102, this city is also struggling with crime. The main factors contributing to this problem include poverty, drug addiction, and a lack of social services. Violent crime is particularly high, with many residents living in fear for their safety. Issues such as domestic violence and gun crime are common, creating an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. These cities are plagued by crime and poor living conditions, with their residents living in constant fear. The residents of these cities are living in constant fear due to the high crime rates. Now let's turn our attention to Elizabeth, New Jersey, a city with a population of 129,096. Elizabeth on the surface might seem like a bustling, energetic place, but a closer look reveals a city grappling with high crime rates. Violent crimes are particularly concerning, with instances of robbery and assault being more common than one might expect for a city of its size. The living conditions in Elizabeth mirror its crime situation, with many residents living below the poverty line and struggling to find affordable housing. Shifting our gaze to Worcester, Mass., a city home to 184,595 people, a similar story unfolds. Worcester wrestles with its own share of crime issues, with property crimes such as burglary and theft being particularly prevalent. The living conditions here, like in Elizabeth, are challenging, with a high poverty rate and a lack of affordable housing options. The high crime rates in these cities are a major concern for the residents and authorities alike. Lastly, we have Syracuse, New York, a city with a population of 143,925. Syracuse, known for its snowfall, is also infamous for its crime rate. Violence and drug-related crimes are particularly prominent, with burglary and theft being the most common offenses. The high crime rate significantly impacts the living conditions, making inhabitants constantly live in fear and insecurity. Moving on, we have Paterson, New Jersey, with its population of 147,265. Paterson, the Silk City, is unfortunately also a hotspot for crime. The city struggles with issues like gang violence, drug trafficking, and homicides. Living conditions here are challenging, with many residents living below the poverty line. The crime rate significantly affects the quality of life, making it hard for the citizens to thrive. Despite their many attractions, these cities are overshadowed by the high crime rates. The challenge remains for authorities to address these issues and create safer environments for the residents. To summarize, the Northeast, despite its charm and rich cultural heritage, has several cities struggling with high crime rates. In Hartford, Connecticut, a city of 123,736 souls, the crime rate is alarmingly high, casting a shadow over the residents' lives. Similarly, Buffalo, New York, with its population of 257,446, grapples with crime that reverberates through its streets. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, home to over 1.5 million people, and Rochester, New York, with a population nearing 210,000, both battle a torrent of criminal activities. These cities are vibrant and full of life, yet their luster is dimmed by the persistent crime rates. Bridgeport, Connecticut, and Springfield, Massachusetts, with populations of 148,000, 180, and 154,102 respectively, also contend with significant crime issues. The residents of these cities face the daunting challenge of living amidst a landscape marred by crime. Elizabeth, New Jersey, with a population of 129,096, and Worcester, Massachusetts, home to 184,595 people, are likewise grappling with high crime rates. The day-to-day life in these cities is deeply affected by the prevalence of crime. Finally, Syracuse, New York, and Paterson, New Jersey, both with populations just over 140,000, are marked by crime rates that are cause for concern. The residents of these cities, like those in the others we've discussed, live under the weight of ongoing criminal activity. Across all these cities, the high crime rates are not just numbers or statistics. They represent real people facing daily challenges, real communities striving for safety and prosperity. It's a stark reminder that more needs to be done, more resources need to be allocated, more attention needs to be paid to ensure the safety and well-being of their residents. The high crime rates in these cities are a stark reminder that more needs to be done to ensure the safety and well-being of their residents.